Plants vs. Zombies is a timeless classic. Something about blasting your way through waves of zombies just never gets old. There's just one problem. It's way too easy. You can just plop a couple of sunflowers down, and before you know it, you've got the whole US military on your front lawn, and the zombies just don't stand a chance. So, to give the zombies some kind of chance, I decided to try and beat Plants vs. Zombies without any type of sun-making plants, namely the sunflower and sunshroom. I started off by naming the account No Sun and hopping into the first level. In the first level, you have one lane of grass and you don't even have the sunflower unlocked, so it would be pretty impressive if I managed to mess this up. Level 2 is a bit scarier. Level 2 serves as an introduction to the sunflower and talks about how important they are. I am recommended to plant at least 3. I was worried that the zombies wouldn't come until I planted 3 of the sunflowers, but I decided to keep collecting sun and hope for the best. To my relief, after gathering enough sun to plant 2 pea shooters, the game gave up and decided to send the zombies at me anyways. Every so often, the game will give me a big hint that it's time to plant a sunflower, but I just ignored them and finished the level. In level 3, the game tells me again that I will do much better if I just plant some sunflowers. But they never forced me to, so I cleared it easily. Level 4 was a bit harder as I had to defend all 5 lanes for the first time. The pea shooter is the cheapest form of attack I have, which made some parts a bit sketchy. But I made it through and unlocked the shovel, which is alright, I guess. It's not like game breaking, but it's nice to have. Level 5 was a nice bowling break and actually helped me unlock one of the most crucial plans in this run, the potato mine. The potato mine can blow up just about every zombie the game throws at you, for just 25 sun and a little bit of patience. This lets me deal with zombies that I don't have enough sun for at the beginning of the rounds, without sacrificing a mower. It also does well in the late game as I never really have enough defense to take out a buckethead zombie. Level 6 continued to scream at me to not leave the sunflower out, but I'm doing it anyway. With the potato mine at my side, levels 6, 7, 8, and 9 were all easy. The pole vaulters were a little scary as they can just launch over mines, but they always appeared late enough in the round to where I could plant 2 pea shooters and take them out. And then I got to level 10. The final boss of this world that will surely be the easiest thing we've done so far? Level 10 uses a conveyor belt to give us plants and help us beat the level, which means you can't possibly use a sunflower. At this point, I realized that levels 5 and 10 in every world are basically freebies that I don't need to worry about. They are nice though, so they give me a little taste of true power for once, and so thankful that I don't have to fight all of these guys with 2 lanes of pea shooters and a couple of potato mines. With level 10 over, I moved into the nighttime, which shouldn't be any more difficult. There is 0 generating sun, which means I have 50 sun for the entire level. There is one bright spot to these miserable nights. After beating level 10, I got access to this little guy, which, as you might notice, caused 0 sun. However, he is extremely weak. While he does the same damage as a pea shooter, he has an incredibly short range of 3 tiles. And while I could make a that's average joke, I respect my viewers. Level 1 consisted of spamming these mushrooms? What is that name? Until my fingers were about to fall off. While I would prefer pea shooters, these guys are actually kinda nice. They have such a fast reload time that you can lay them down quickly and get 5 whole rows in no time. In level 2, I managed to stack enough of them to take out a buckethead. Although anything above a conehead will at least get some chomps on a shroom, even when they die, I can replace them fast enough that it doesn't really matter. Levels 3 and 4 were a bit tougher. After beating level 2, you unlock the fume shroom, which fires bubbles that are meant to counter this guy's shield. Unfortunately, they cost 75 sun. I only have 50 sun. Originally, I was just using the 50 sun I had on grenades as I thought these guys were invincible. But in level 4, I realized that the screen door just has a lot of HP, so I can take them down at the cost of a lot of fallen men. Level 5 was a breeze, and level 6 started off great. In Plants vs. Zombies, there are 3 different types of levels. Some have 1 big wave, some have 2, and some have 3. 1 big wave is obviously the easiest. All you have to do is survive until the wave, and by then you've already won. Even if the zombies overwhelm you, you have a full roster of mowers to take everything out. But on level 6, There was a football zombie who immediately took out a whole row of plants and a mower. This was very scary, but thankfully in the final wave there wasn't anything too hard to deal with in that row. There was another football player, but he was in another row, so a mower took him out easily. Level 7 was more annoying than hard. I would build up lines upon lines of defense, and then the game would throw 3 screen doors at me and I'd have to start all over. In level 8, I introduced a new strategy. Up until now, I've just been saving the extra sun. I haven't really needed it, so I decided to just spend them on these tall boys, which function exactly the same as the short ones, except they have a full map range. It was a good thing I did too, as in level 8 they introduced the disco zombie who periodically spawns 4 zombies around him. And both of the disco zombies happened to spot in a lane with one of the tall boys. Level 9 is the final challenge in World 2, and although I did have to use 3 mowers, I made it out. Level 10 is a walk in the park, and I moved into the backyard. At face value, the backyard doesn't look much harder than the front yard. The pool is very long and must make mowing a nightmare, but I thought it would be more or less the same as the front yard. But after a couple of levels, I realized it was harder. Not only do you have to pay extra sun to build a defense on the water, there are also 6 lanes instead of 5. Considering how limited my sun gathering is, things got a lot more intense. Also, all of the mushrooms fall asleep in the daytime, so I no longer have a free murder weapon to spam. With lots of potato mines to make up for my lack of sun, I made my way through level 1 and entered level 2. Bro, it's level 2! Thankfully, there was only one of them, and I was able to crush him with a squash. Level 3 introduces a new annoying enemy to deal with that I don't have a solution for yet. Level 3 has zombies with snorkels that are invisible to plants until he starts eating them. I unfortunately don't have the kind of cash to constantly replace plants, so I instead decided to just use squashes whenever this guy appears. I would use a mine and save 25 sun, but you can't plant mines on lily pads. There were 5 of these snorkel guys, which meant I had to spend 250 sun on these guys alone. Thankfully, after beating level 3, I unlocked the tangleweed, which is effectively a potato mine in the water, but without the loading time. This is actually super good, and can one-shot any zombie in the water, including bucket heads, which I made sure to make use of. Level 5 had a conveyor belt and way too many lily pads, and level 6 introduced 2 new types of zombies. The zombie riding a Zamboni, and the bobsled zombies. They only appeared once in the level, and I used a squash to take care of the Zamboni. And I probably should have used a chili pepper to take care of the 8 other zombies, but I instead tried to trust in the pea shooters, and then just use a squash for some cleanup. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is that at some point Dave added water mowers to his shop, which I quickly bought. And it's a good thing too, as level 7 got heated and I had to use 3 mowers. Level 8 started off scary. After the first big wave, some random guy on a shark just yoinked my mower before I even knew what was happening. This frightened me so much that I just started to place lily pads immediately when I saw them, so their shark would abandon them and I could take them out. I know there will already be people rushing to correct me going, well, actually, if you look there's a blowhole and that makes it a dolphin. Shut up, nerd. I know dolphins are like the devil of the ocean and all, but saying that you've been robbed by a guy riding a shark just sounds so much cooler than saying you got robbed by a guy riding a dolphin. Like, come on. Level 9 started off fantastically. I drove the hordes of zombies back until the end. Right before the final wave, a conehead got the best of me and robbed me of my mower. I basically gave up on every other lane and just saved up to buy a squash and a mine to take out the zombies in that lane. Level 10 was fun. And now we're back into the night. We again have the pool, but we thankfully get another free tower which helps with the water. Level 1 consisted of spamming free towers, and level 2 had a football zombie again. Thankfully, it only came in the final wave, so I had a mower to spare him. Besides the water and more difficult zombies, the only difference between Worlds 2 and 4 is the fog. I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to place plants in the fog, and I would need to buy a lantern to do anything. Side note, lanterns are 25 sun, so buying one on either side would require my entire budget, and if they ever got eaten, I'd just be screwed. Thankfully, that's not the case. You just aren't able to see the zombies or your plants. You just hear the gruesome sounds of plants being eaten alive and zombies dying. Before entering level 3, I picked out all of my plants and hit the start game button. Usually, I get the message that it's not smart to leave without a sunflower or something like that. But this time, I got 2 messages. Besides the sun producing warning, I also got a message that I wouldn't be able to damage balloon zombies. I was lucky during this level. There were 2 balloon zombies and they decided to go down different lanes. But I don't know if this trend will continue. Whenever a balloon zombie comes, it just takes a mower or my brain, which can really screw me over if I get bad RNG. Level 4 is where bad RNG is taken to the max. After an hour of attempts, I finally managed to pull out a win. There are 3 balloon zombies in this level, and they just love to stack up for some reason. Even when they don't, the waves of zombies in the water especially were hard enough that they could take a lawnmower on their own. When you slap those 2 together, it's just a terrible time. Level 5 was a nice fun break from the challenge, and level 6 was also smooth sailing. There were no balloon zombies, and I didn't have to use any mowers because of how easy it was. Level 7 also wasn't terrible, but it did introduce a new, weirder zombie. Here is the stupid miner zombie. The stupid miner zombie mines all the way past the plants, and instead of feasting on brains, he decides that he wants to walk backward and eat some vegetables. This guy literally has a 0% chance of killing you. All he does is be annoying and eat your plants. You're intended to buy this guy, but he's a little out of our price range, so we have to improvise. We do have to sacrifice a couple of guys, but by rebuying them quickly enough, we can kill the zombie and not lose our entire defense. Level 8 introduces yet another type of zombie. The pogo zombie jumps over plants, which makes him incredibly fast. So fast that an entire line of defense is not enough to hold him. Thankfully, there's only one of them, so I didn't have to worry. But he's still very annoying. Level 9. Level 9. Level 9 took my sanity. There are hard waves of zombies that I can't kill. There are pogo zombies that I can't kill. And there are balloon zombies that I can't even damage. After 2.5 hours of attempts, I got the God Run, which with perfect RNG still took 5 mowers. Level 10 was the first actually somewhat difficult conveyor belt level. They gave pretty crappy towers, and I immediately lost a mower about 2 seconds into the level. On top of this, it's pitch black besides the occasional lightning strikes. After 2 long days of combat, the zombies had made it onto the roof. Instead of choosing a different house without hundreds of trained, bloodthirsty vegetables at their disposal, or simply not walking into these very slow-moving bullets, they've decided to climb past the open windows and clueless humans and fight on top of the roof. The roof has one main gimmick to make you use different towers. The first 5 lanes are at an angle, which means that pea shooters shoot straight into the tile if they aren't placed on the top row. You also have to place every plant in a pot, which can be eaten by zombies and has to be bought back for 25 sun. Level 1 was pretty easy, although you do get introduced to possibly the most annoying zombie of all time, the bungee zombie, who just picks a plant and then takes them into the back rooms. You can theoretically kill them before they take a plant, but I don't have the kind of cash on hand required to build a defense that can kill him. I bought the roof mowers as I'm certain we'll need them, and then hopped into level 2. I used mines and squashes to take care of the bucket heads and other dangerous zombies and unlock the butter launcher. Its real name is the Colonel Pult, but that sounds off and is weirdly hard to pronounce, so I'm going to call it the butter launcher. The butter launchers are cracked. Most of the time they launch little pieces of corn, but occasionally they launch pieces of butter that deal more damage and freeze zombies in place. They are so cracked that I managed to save up enough money for a decent defense. I don't need to show this, but I'm proud of what I built in level 3. The devs had a fun time with level 4. You know what people love? Pogo sticks. So let's bring those back, and let's throw in 4 football zombies for some spice. In the first 50% of this level, the pogo stick zombies took 3 of my mowers. I used potato mines on all the football zombies, and I was feeling alright until I got to the final wave and had a miniature heart attack when a pogo stick appeared in the top lane. If you'll notice, I don't have a mower on the top lane. I quickly placed a 4th butter launcher and prayed. Thankfully, I was lucky enough with butter RNG to kill him before he could eat my brains. Levels 5 and 6 passed without anything interesting, but level 7 was a bit trickier. Level 7 has these guys on catapults who ride up and shoot down your plants. I really don't have the sun to spare replacing my plants, so every time they came I would just spend 75 sun for a squash in a pot. This really waned my resources, and with all the bungee zombies dropping down and taking all of my hopes and dreams, I just tried to spend all of my sun keeping my mowers alive until the final wave when I let the zombies go crazy. Level 8 had the gargantuan zombie who was so big, he carries a smaller zombie on his back. Needless to say, I was a little worried. Thankfully, the level was really easy. To compensate for this little mini-boss, the other zombies were very easy, and I just saved up money to kill the gargantuans. For the first one, I used a squash to speed up the process and a mine for the little guy on his back. I actually saved up enough money on the second one that I used a cherry and a red hot pepper and just burnt him alive. With confidence steaming from killing the 2 gargantuans, I entered the final boss, level 9. This is the final level that could stop our run, and they don't hold back. They have bucket hats, jack-in-the-boxes, bungee zombies, ladder zombies, catapults, and gargantuans. There are also 3 waves. I built a row of butter launchers in the back and cabbages right in front of them. From that point on, I spent my sun replacing plants stolen by the bungee zombies and buying squashes and mines for the bucket hats and tractor zombies. For the first time ever, a jack-in-the-box zombie got close to my plants and I found out that they explode and are literally just kamikaze zombies. So I started paying more attention to them and killing them with squashes. Right before the final wave, the bottom and middle rows were about to fall. I tried my best to save them, but I couldn't and lost them right before the huge horde of zombies. I was scared and prepared to replay the level, but out of the 2 lanes, only 1 regular zombie spawned in. I guess I just got astronomically lucky, so I placed the winning squash and proudly removed all the plants that fought by my side and watched as the mowers killed the final zombies. I curb stomped Dr. Edgar Zomboss and his epic mech and watched the credits roll. This video took me a couple of weeks to make, so if you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking, it would mean the world to me. Thank you. And until next time, die bravely.